Hey guys, welcome to today's live stream. I'm Monique Bradley, and if we haven't met before, I am a weight loss and wellness advocate. I'm a low carber and I've lost over 40 kilos in weight, and I'm constantly, as a foodie, always looking for ways to hack recipes that I love, make them really healthy options or options that suit my gut health, suit my lifestyle, and are super easy to make. So recently I was chatting with some people. I went to the Go Green Expo and I had the most delicious smoothie, and I noticed that people were walking around with smoothie bowls, and I thought, love the concept. And a lot of smoothies you probably find if you go to a raw food cafe, they put all these beautiful decorations on top, and you go to drink it and you can't actually suck the toppings up through your straw, which is where I think the smoothie bowl actually came from. It became a necessity that instead of making your smoothie, putting your smoothie in a container, you could have it in a bowl like a decadent dessert, but it's loaded with nutrition and really great for your body. So I thought today I'm going to hack one of my own recipes, which is my low carb smoothie recipe, and turn it into a smoothie bowl, because there's a little bit of a trick to making a smoothie bowl work. Like any sort of smoothie, you should always start with some sort of liquid. And first of all, I want to say hi to everybody that's watching today. Nice to see you guys on the live stream. You want to start with some sort of liquid. Now, I don't want to, because I'm carbohydrate intolerant, I don't necessarily want to have a load of dairy milk, so I'm using an almond milk as an option. Often I'll make my own almond milk. You can use any nut milk that you prefer, and into my container, into my blender, I'm going to add about a cup, which is around 250 mils. You could use coconut milk in here, you could use coconut cream even. You can choose basically your own favorite. The key to making a smoothie bowl work though is really the consistency. So your consistency of a smoothie bowl is going to be a little thicker than a traditional smoothie, because a smoothie is normally quite thin, so you can drink it through like a milkshake. But to make this thicker, we need to add a few things. And there's a whole bunch of different options. In fact, the recipe I've shared underneath this video has a link to the recipe on my website, which gives you a whole bunch of different options. So to make your smoothie thicker, you can add extra fats. So you could maybe add some avocado in there, which is of course great for your health. You can also consider adding a whole lot of sunflower seeds and nuts into there, nut butters, which will amp up your protein content, but at the same time, it will be creamy and smooth and start to thicken your smoothie as well. One of the easiest ways to do it is in fact to add a lot of ice, and to add, in my instance, I'm going to add a whole lot of, for a flavor base as well as a thickener, a whole lot of frozen berries. So in my freezer, I don't actually have enough room for an ice cube tray. I just realized today when I was prepping for this demo. So it's easier for me to use my strawberries, which are still relatively low in carbohydrates, as a replacement for my ice cubes. So the more that you add, I'll actually add a couple more, the more that you add, the thicker your smoothie will be. And it's the same with ice. So if I really wanted to make this super thick, I'd add probably half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of ice cubes to really thicken this up. So it will come out slightly thicker. I'll just grab a tea towel. It will come out slightly thicker, and it will ensure that you've got a really good consistency, because on the top of your smoothie, you're going to add lots of yummy, decadent treats. Smoothies are great because you can hide vegetables in them as well. So if you've got fussy kids who don't like to eat a lot of vegetables, you can load kale in here, you can load broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. And when I say cauliflower, I've got one here. For those of you who might have a really slow thyroid, you have to be really careful with eating those sorts of vegetables raw, because there's a thing called goitrogens, which inhibit the absorption of iodine by the thyroid to help stimulate your metabolism. So it's really important when you're having any sort of cruciferous vegetables, so if you're going broccoli, cauliflower, kale as an example, it's really important to pre-cook those if you're going to blend them into your smoothie. So I would take a little bit of cauliflower and steam it, and then pop it into my smoothie for some added content in there, some added vegetable content. Cauliflower is actually really high in vitamin C, so it's really good support for your immune system as well. And because if you've ever had a cauliflower mash, cauliflower, when you blend it all up, goes super, super creamy, so it will add to the consistency of your smoothie as well. Now, one of the coolest things that people forget about, so they think smoothie, I'm going to add in lots of yogurt. Back the truck up. I actually like to add lots of cottage cheese, and usually a couple of tablespoons, in fact, of cottage cheese into my smoothie, because it's pretty much very low in carbs. So there's 2 grams of carbs per 50 grams of cottage cheese, but there's a whopping 6 grams of protein. So cottage cheese is actually higher in protein than yogurt, and there's no sugars in there. Now, by accident, today the only cottage cheese I had has chives in it. But the cool thing about this recipe is, while cottage cheese can be a little funky and you probably wouldn't assume you'd put it into something sweet, you can mask the flavour by adding vanilla essence, which is one of my favourite things as well. So about a teaspoon, actually a little drizzle more in there. Now, to amp up that protein content a little bit more, you can also add in chia seeds. Chia seeds are loaded with good fats that are great for heart health, cardiovascular health, really good source of protein in there as well, particularly if you're mixing seeds, nuts and legumes together. It actually, all the amino acids in those work together to create a more complex carbohydrate, which is actually a protein. So really important. I've got a tablespoon of those in there. So it really is that simple. Again, I'd probably add about quarter of a cup to half a cup of ice in there as well. This will turn into a delicious, yummy, sort of a pale pink colour, which is the image that you'll see in my recipe. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. Now, if you notice your smoothie still isn't quite thick enough, it's really simple to fix. So I could go a little thicker by adding in a few extra raspberries and a few extra strawberries as well. Now, if you're thinking, oh, but you know, if you're a low carb, you're not supposed to have a lot of fruit. Well, I don't, and I get most of my nutrition from vegetables as much as I can. But to get those extra antioxidants, I particularly like berries. So I don't use any sort of banana in my smoothies. Oh, that's looking good. I would prefer, if you think of tomatoes and avocados are both fruit as well, right? So I would prefer to get that extra nutrition from those sources which are lower on the glycemic index. So for those of you who are thinking, oh, is this going to be diabetes friendly? Yes, it is. I actually forgot to add one of the most important ingredients in there as well, which is in fact a sweetener. So this will be quite tart at the moment. So for me, I don't use sugar. I use an alternative. So today I'll just show that to you. I'm using Natvia, not paid to tell you that, by the way. I just use it every day. So I'm only going to show you the products that I actually use. I'm going to put a whole tablespoon in there because I really like it. You can use your preferred sweetener. So if you don't have a problem with sugars, you might want to use some medjool dates, which are delicious and beautifully caramelly, yummy and delicious. You could use agave syrup, you could use a little maple syrup in there, whatever works for you and your gut and your diet. You're a grown up, you can do whatever you like. Okay, that's going to be beautiful and nice and thick. Righty-ho. So, smoothie bowl. We've got our delicious smoothie. It smells amazing. So you can't even smell the chives in there because of course we've got those other flavours blending it down, masking it. Let me just taste it. Oh yeah, that's really good. Oh yeah, I really like it. So we're going to pour this into a bowl like that. So it's got a nice, smooth, creamy consistency, and again, it's loaded with nutrition. So about half the bowl is probably good enough, and you'll notice you probably have a little extra left over. If you're doing a smoothie bowl for the whole family, as an example, you're making this a big version of it, anything left over you can pop into an ice cube tray, put a little stick in it, put it in the fridge, or you can pop it into ice cream molds, and you can have it if you need a little treat after school. Really healthy option there as well. Okay, the greatest thing about a smoothie bowl is the way you decorate it. So the trend is, of course, not to cover the whole thing with wild abandon with all your favourite toppings. And by the way, when it comes to seasoning it, you can add in any flavour combination. So if you're going to make a smoothie bowl and you want kind of a chocolatey vibe, you can hide all your kale in there, you can hide all your spinach in there, load it up with chocolate or cacao or cocoa powder. Make sure if you're going to use a chocolate and blend it through that it's a very dark chocolate as well, so it doesn't mess with your glycemic index. You can throw it all in there, blend it down. The kids will never know there's vegetables in there, so it's an absolute win. When you're coming to decorate it, and I learnt this the hard way, you want to grab a board of some sort, and then you want to cover, say, half of it. You might want to go crossways, make it look super pretty like you see on Pinterest. But the problem is, if you don't weigh it down, your board's going to fall off and you're not going to get a really nice tidy edge. So I learnt the hard way that a good way to do it is to pop a weight close to the edge of your board there, or you could use cardboard if you prefer, and it'll give you a bit of a cleaner edge. So the first thing I'm going to do, sprinkle some coconut. So we're thinking good fats here, lots of fiber, good for the gut. Really good to get things moving. If you've got a child in your family, especially through school holidays, and they've been eating a little bit too much junk food and they're a little bit backed up, I won't go into the details. You can give them something like this. It'll be really tasty and it'll get things moving. Okay, one of the other things that I love, because I'm obsessed with coconut, I found these the other day. They're called Coconut Smiles. Look at that, super cute. These are basically chunks of coconut, and they are roasted and delicious. You can eat them as a snack, again loaded with fiber and good fats as well. So good. Oh yeah, so we want to decorate this up. And because the viscosity of this smoothie is that little bit thicker, things should sit really nicely on the top. And remember too, when you're making food, particularly if you've got fussy eaters, kids, well, humans, eat with their eyes as well. So you want to make it really attractive. That's why there's so much flourish done on your meals in a restaurant. It's kind of important. You want to add plenty of nuts into this. So the idea is we want to make this as balanced as possible. So we want fats, we want plant, we want some protein in there, because then you'll feel satisfied and you'll have longer sustained blood sugar levels, and you won't feel as hungry. You'll feel satisfied, particularly if there's a good amount of fat content in there. So we've got fat content from the cottage cheese in there, and we're getting fat content from the nuts. So you should feel relatively satisfied with this. And if you're having it for breakfast, it should keep you going for a couple of hours until lunchtime, which is always really good. So a good one again to do with the kids, because they can get creative too. You could add into the mix, if you like slivered almonds, you can add a few of those into the mix as well. Make it look all pretty. Add a little bit of personality to it. You can add, oh, I love these. All of these things are great for our body. You know, almonds, great for the eyes. We've got pumpkin seeds, so good for you. Walnuts, great for the brain. Love it. All of this food, which is so delicious, is not just fuel for the body, it's medicine for the body. And that's what I love about this. You're essentially making every mouthful count. Right, we're looking pretty good, look at that. The last thing we want to add on are the final tasty treats there. So I want to pick up that kind of pink color and make it look all pretty. So I'm going to add, I've got some of my berries here that I left to basically defrost. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Don't sink, don't sink. We should be okay. And you just want to add a little bit of your berries. I've got a few raspberries in here as well. Oh yeah, that's so cute. A bit more raspberry. And make sure you don't load it up with lots of the juice. So as you're working with your berries in there, make sure that that juice is staying in there, because you don't want to add any moisture. That's super important. You basically want to make sure that all of these things are kind of floating on top, just like that. Look at that. So tasty. And this is powerful because it's loaded with antioxidants. And we all know those antioxidants are so good. They fight the free radicals that cause premature aging. They fight all those nasties that kind of float around in the environment and can affect your health. And then, because I love this, it's like dessert, but you can eat it for breakfast. One of the other things I love to add is a little chocolate. So this is the chocolate I like to eat because it's basically sugar-free. It's a no sugar added from Well Naturally. This is sweetened with stevia, and stevia is made from plant. So this is on my list of okay things to eat. Again, remember too, it is chocolate, you'll get that little dairy milk hit, but at the same time, if you have been having cravings for sweet things, for chocolate, this will actually help curb that. And of course, you're getting lots of protein, you're getting all the goodness of all of these delicious ingredients. And this serves your health. Can you even believe that? So cacao, cocoa, chocolate are all loaded also with antioxidants as well. So again, cacao, cocoa, chocolate, they're all superfoods. So they are loaded with goodness for your body. And boom, just like that, you have your own handcrafted smoothie bowl. If you went to a cafe or a restaurant that does breakfast, you might pay something like, I'll just pop that back, you might pay something like $15 or $16 for this. And yet you can make this in your own home and you know what's in it. And that's the important thing. When you're trying to transform your health, when you're trying to lose weight, and I've been on the journey for 25 years trying to lose weight and control my weight and my health. When you're going through that journey, it's really important to know what's in your food, because even though something might say it's reduced sugar, what other ingredients are they adding in there to increase the flavor? You have to think about these things. You have to think consciously when it comes to what you eat, because remember, what you eat is what you become. So don't be cheap, fast, or easy. Got it with me? Excellent. So there you go. That's how to make a smoothie bowl. And remember too, you can create your own version of this. If you love using protein powder, you could consider making kind of a cookies and cream style by adding in some vanilla protein powder in there, adding in maybe some, if you've made low carb cookies like chocolate chip cookies, you can add those on there. Anything that's going to really taste like it's delicious while it's loaded with all this nutrition is a winning formula. So if you want to find out more, head to my website, moniquebradley.tv. The recipe is loaded there to the front page of the website, so it's already there, or you can use the link below this video. Head there, have a look. I've got a bunch of different ingredients on there that you can use. So if you want to make a vanilla smoothie, but you want to add in some ginger, maybe you want to play around with some turmeric, you can do anything. All of this is your medicine kit. So get creative with your food, have a lot of fun, and make every mouthful count. I'm Monique Bradley. Thank you so much for joining me, and a big shout out to my producer and director Pete for making all of these live streams happen. And keep your questions coming and let me know what you want to see me hack in my kitchen so you can treat yourself. Time to go. Bye. See you guys. Thanks for watching.